Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Galloping Major, and this is a review of USS Wichita, the United States Premium Tier 7 cruiser, the end reward of the Lone Veteran campaign if you have Admiralty backing. Now, the reason why it's called the Lone Veteran campaign is because USS Wichita is a one-of-a-kind. She was the last treaty-compliant heavy cruiser built by the United States in order to fill their allotment of heavy cruisers as outlined in the London Naval Treaty of 1932. Now, she's based on an improved Brooklyn hull, so that's basically the same hull as the Cleveland light cruiser, which will be coming next patch. And she served in both theatres. She served in both the Atlantic and the Pacific theatre, but I won't go any more into it really because Draken Fennell has done a really good guide, and I'm going to have that carded top right now. It's about 7 minutes and 45 seconds long. So this is obviously a tier 6 and 7 game. Looking at the other team, we have a Minsk and a Benson, so only 2 destroyers. Helena, Atlanta, so very light cruisers. But then there's a Prince Eugen, which is a heavy cruiser, Hood, KG5 and Alabama, so some interesting battleships to go with it. I spawned in the centre, but I've pushed out to the left to just provide some support to these two battleships here. What is it? A Scharnhorst and a Colorado. The destroyer that spawned with them has decided to head off into the middle, so I'm using a bit of cover here just to try and get into a decent position. Now, I'm going to go over the stats of USS Wichita, and as always, this is all going to be in comparison to the Tech Tree cruisers fully upgraded. So, survivability. The HP is just below average for the tier, and if you consider only heavy cruisers, as outlined in the London Naval Treaty of 1920... Washington Naval Treaty of 1922, heavy cruisers were defined as being 8-inch guns or larger. She has the lowest amount of HP for a heavy cruiser. However, she does have quite thick upper band armour, about 203mm. That puts her on par with the Baltimore, but even with her repair parties, she does have a low potential HP pool. But then this goes hand in hand with quite the trend that we get from wargaming, where tougher ships seem to have a slightly lower HP pool. So that might tie into her trait of being a tough cruiser. Artillery wise, we have 9 8-inch guns in 3 triple turrets. So we have a triple turret facing rearwards, that's Y turret, and then we have B turret super firing over A turret. And they got reasonable angles. You can usually kick out to get the Y turret onto target. Is there an advantageable situation here? Yeah, there is. Okay, we'll take advantage of that. Now, you have average range and reload for the tier. You have joint slowest turret traverse speed though, and you have good HE damage for your shells and average fire chance, but you do have quite a poor AP damage. Something to bear in mind. Maybe you want to stick Lucians on as a inspiration if you find you're playing that kind of AP build. Now she has the second worst HE damage per minute. She has the worst AP damage per minute as well, but then that probably ties into her poor DPM, a poor AP damage I should say. And she has the second worst fires per minute chance at 5.9. However, one thing to note is that the armor piercing is that classic American sticky shot that you'll be familiar with. Oh, that Helena got folded up. That you'll be familiar with from playing the Pensacola, the New Orleans, and the Baltimore. Basically, American cruisers with 8-inch guns or larger have sticky shot, which means that they have improved auto ricochet angles. So my AP will, rather than ricochet at plus or minus 45 degrees against an enemy broadside, it's plus or minus 60 degrees with the USS Wichita. Torpedoes, this is a really nice quick stat to talk about. There are no torpedoes, and it's probably the only place where I could actually fault USS Wichita. She would have been really nice to have some torpedoes, but maybe you would have had to sacrifice some secondary armament for that. I'm just going to see if we can flush the Atlanta around and then take this objective. Maneuverability, you are the joint second fastest at 33.5 knots. You're also the joint second smallest turning circle at 680 meters. And you do have the best rudder shift at 6 seconds. That's something to really bear in mind when it comes to picking your modifications. Your rudder's pretty good as it is. You might not need to take double rudder, or if you do take double rudder, it's just going to be really swishy. Concealment, you're better than average, but it's only just, and it's nothing special. It's nothing really to shout about at the end of the day. Going on to consumables, we have 2 sonar. It's pretty standard tier, so detect ships at 4.4 kilometers, torpedoes at 3.1 kilometers, has a 96-second duration and 180-second reload. You also have repair parties. You get 2 of those as well. These heal 227 HP per second for 28 seconds, which means a single repair party will heal 6,356 health. That's about 16.8% of your base HP. So what that will then mean is if you go for a fully packed commander where you get 3 repair parties, you'll be looking at 19,068 HP, which is equivalent to about 50% of your health points base, which is very nice. And then obviously if you don't do anything, then you'll be looking at 12,712 HP from the 2 repair parties that it comes with. Your next consumable, you have some options. You can pick between radar or spotter aircraft. Now the radar, you get 2 of those. It has a range of 9 kilometers and a duration of 30 seconds and 180 second reload. The spotter aircraft, you get 4 of those instead, but there's nothing really special to mention about these. There's nothing like they got really good damage or different in any way. However, whether that's a choice that you might want to consider, I could see there being justification for making that decision of not having the radar, but then also I think the radar's pretty strong considering the amount of Udachis we seem to be coming across nowadays. Yes, I am firing AP at the deckline of HM's Hood because I know her deckline's pretty poor. Right, back to HE. Now, the nice one is, because she's a premium ship, she does come with a Type 9 permanent camouflage. This is the same as a Type 4 consumable camouflage. That's basically minus 4.5% detectability range and plus 4.5% incoming dispersion. Basically makes you harder to hit, and well, you can drop off detectability a lot quicker. Modules wise, so this may surprise you, but I'll go through them. For the first module I went for secondary battery modifications. The reason being is I couldn't justify the main battery mod because that does improve turret traverse at increased reload, and the aiming systems is alright, but the dispersion is pretty good, and you got no torpedoes, so you're only really taking it probably for the secondaries. So I'd rather just go for the secondaries and just say, balls to it, let's have some proper secondaries. The second modification, your options are obviously steering gears, propulsion mod, or damage control party modification. I went for the propulsion mod simply because, like I said, the rudder's already pretty good, and I kind of started to really enjoy having that really quick acceleration deceleration that I've had with the USN light cruisers. For your third module, now this is why I went for the steering gears, because that has a minus 40% rudder shift time, so that brings me on par with my double steering gear build on my Baltimore. So that's the really nice one. I only have to take 1 steering gear modification to do that. I thought this was the place for it, really. Your options, I think you can reduce your concealment or increase target acquisition, but I thought this is where I wanted to have the steering gears. For the fourth module, I went for the main battery modification. This improves your rate of fire at the cost of turret traverse speed, but then again, I haven't been too concerned about the rudder shift. It has been quite good, well, good to me, I guess you could say. I wouldn't say, even with the, good lord, their team's melting, I'm not even getting a chance to shoot them. Yeah, so the slower turret shift, I didn't really I haven't found it to be a problem. Well, overall, I think she is a really, really good cruiser. She's a great all-rounder. Her only downside is that she doesn't come with torpedoes, but if that's the only downside, I can't argue with it. She's got the same kind of armor layout that you have on the Baltimore, so it seems like you can auto-bounce, well, not auto-bounce, but like, you won't be overmatched by 15-inch guns. You will be overmatched by 16-inch guns, but it's about knowing the caliber of the enemy battleships basically, and knowing which ones you can angle against and which ones you kind of know they're going to go through you like a hot knife through butter. From her traits, she's classified as tough. Yeah, I can stand for that. If you know what you're doing in cruisers, she will treat you right. She's also got the sure shot, oh no, the sticky shot I should say, so that's basically the ricochet angles. We've kind of already covered that off. And then the other one is, I guess they call it like a neutral ability. I might as well use my damage con there, he's not going to see me for a while. Well, yeah, we're talking about the sluggish shot, which basically means that your shells, they're slow through the air, but it does mean you can shoot over mountains. But then I haven't really, it's not here nor there really. It's a nice ability because you can use cover, but then it's not, the sluggish shot is not that bad that you find yourself overleading. I find that aiming at enemy targets is fine. So that was, well, 53,000 damage for a game where I'm half reading out a notebook. I can live with that. Got a kill, yay! 6 hits on target, yeah, didn't do too badly. Came 5th on the team, but then I think considering that where I went on the flank, it was all quite quiet. Definitely appreciate that the rest of the team really did quite a lot of the heavy lifting there, which is good. It means I can crack on with the review when I do this. And then the economy, okay, yes, I would have made a loss without the premium, but with the premium, thank God, that kind of scrapes it all in. But you can see that the ship service cost, even for a premium tier 7, is the same as a normal tech tree tier 7, so that's 170-ish. In this case, it's 165,000 credits. So obviously, if you do tier 7, either you have to go balls to the wall, or accept that sometimes you just might make a loss, which, well, it is what it is sometimes. Well, if you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, much appreciated, guys. If you enjoy this kind of content and aren't already subscribed, then why not consider it? And if you are subscribed, then thank you very much, guys. And if any of you have a good game, a clutch game, a funny game, even a weird game in USS Wichita, why not send it in for my commentary? It will be part of Average Reports, which comes out on Monday. Our email address is down in the description, along with the commander build and the ship modifications used during this review. Until next time, I'm the Gallant Major, and back to the port. And you have quite thick upper band armor of 203mm, so that's something to bear in mind. That might add to the tough category that the or tough trait that the cruiser is given. I'm seeing that basically everyone who I came with here to support has decided to go round on the other side of the island where there's no objectives, so I'm kind of saying, balls to this, I'm going, mate. I'm going. I ain't hanging around to find out if the Poltava can find my citadel. Artillery wise, you have 9 8-inch guns in 3 triple turrets. You have Y turret facing rearwards, and then you have B turret super firing over A turret at the front. These have a average range and reload speed for the tier. You have the joint slowest turret traverse speed though for the tier. You have good HE damage for the shells. You have an average fire chance, and you have, yeah, you are looking at me, very good. And you have a poor AP damage. You know. I think potatoing it into the island actually saved my life. However, it should be noted that he has a 36-second reload, and that time is whittling away. You still look at me. Yeah, he found my citadel. I'm actually going to reverse my butt at him, I think. I can't make it around the island. Okay, this is a really strange tactic.
Our team has taken the lead.
You know what? Do it. I'm sorry, I'm too distracted by doing this. I'm so sorry. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, go on, go on, go on. Get round. I'm trying to dismantle his turret. Okay, this is not going to be. This is going into a blooper reel. Oh, oh my God. That was the most potato ever. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I lost my composure. Oh, alright. Oh, better luck next time.